What up? What up? What up? It's your boy Tone 202. Yo, a couple people have asked me about the ATL and the zones, and why do they call them, zone 1 through 4 or 1 through 6, and what's the deal with them? Listen, I want to say again, I'm not from Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? And also, I'm not talking bad about Atlanta because I'm getting some comments of people who are a little aggressive. I'm talking about my experience there. When I lived there for a short time, for like a year or so, I also want to say I didn't just go to Atlanta out of nowhere. I was going in and out of Atlanta for a couple things. But most of all, I was flying to Atlanta because my little girl lives down there. So I was going down there to see her. So I didn't just decide just some random place I want to go and move because I heard about it. Some guy was like, he heard stories and then he went there. No, I I was already going to school in Alabama. I went to school at Talladega. That's where I started my long trudge through academia. But I did not finish there because I had a little girl. So I started when I was in my late 20s. So I came back to Ohio because I decided, I wanted to work so I can make money because now I'm a responsible father. So when I moved down to Atlanta, I moved down there to be closer to my little girl. I just wanted to make that, understood for you guys. Somebody else commented about, the fact that I had two jobs. I was working for a temporary service. And I wanted to work more than 8 hours a day. So I picked up another job through that service. Okay, so that's how that went. And when those jobs ended, I tried to find another job, but I told you guys about the huge, huge unemployment issue back then when I was down there then. And I couldn't find a job in time. The rent, and all the other stuff caught up to me. So I left. That's what happened there. And my little girl, his mother and I wasn't getting along at all. I couldn't hardly see her. So there was no need for me to stay down there and struggle when I knew I could come back to Ohio, get back on my feet. I had friends here. I didn't date while I was in Atlanta. I was strictly business, strictly work, and it just didn't go my way. So I want to make that clear. I'm also not talking, like I said, I'm not talking bad about the ATL because I said very clearly that my choice, if I had a choice, I would probably live in Kennesaw, which is right outside of Atlanta. I would probably live in just for the rest of my life there because I really like that area. They have a small university. Kennesaw University is right there. I would just, take random classes, of course, after I finish my degree here because I like to study different things. I'd probably take biology, actually, and get probably go ahead and get a biology degree is what I'd be looking at doing just to get it, just because I want to study biology. Anyway, so the different zones are split up by the police, to my knowledge. The reason why I mentioned one of these zones is because there was a rapper who just died down there. He got shot in Zone 6. Some of you may not. I mean, there's a lot of people who aren't from there or afraid to move there for one reason or another, not because of what I'm saying. So I just don't want Atlanteans thinking I'm talking bad about them. And because there's trouble everywhere you go. There's good and there's bad people. Some people are saying the people who are causing troubles aren't from Atlanta. That is probably very true, according to your experience. But when somebody moves down there and they don't know anything about Atlanta, they're thinking the people who are giving them, some issues are from Atlanta, especially if they're older. So you got to understand, I didn't mix up with a younger crowd. I was in my 30s, so I was already mixed with an older crowd. And those are the people I experienced. So my automatic thought was, your people are from here, born and raised. Nonetheless, it wasn't all bad. It was just not. It wasn't all bad. I cannot say that. I didn't get robbed. I didn't get beat up. I didn't go through a lot of atrocities that people go through. I didn't look for it either. I didn't live in those areas where it's pronounced. You know what I'm saying? I, but I did travel kind of all over Atlanta, back and forth in the different areas. I didn't go in and out of people's hoods, I'm going to go into the hood. No. I did not do that. I didn't go find some projects and just decide, hey, I'm going to dip into these projects just to see if I can get shot in the face. Nah. I caught some warning signs, like I told you about the story with the bandana, and I took it off, and that was it. But it was hanging on my back pocket. It wasn't on my head. I never flew a flag. I am not a gangster. I never lived that lifestyle. I was always the everyday dude, just looking for a job, trying to, have a, family and all that. That was always my modus operandi. I'm not one of them dudes who's money hungry, money happy. If I got a couple dollars, I'm cool with it. If I got extra dollars, I usually try to spend it on helping somebody out in some kind of way. I just wanted to make that known. So, did I grow up in a place that was, that they had gangsters? Absolutely. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Absolutely. Did I grow up in roach-infested and rat-infested projects? 100%. So I already know that life. Did I grow up fighting and all that? Yeah, I used to get jumped, used to fight. I had to throw hands, coming home from school. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that, I went down to Atlanta and these people was just off the chain. No, I just went down there and I told y'all about my experience. Some good, some bad. You know what I'm saying? And to my experience, I would never live inside the city, especially now that the population has grown exponentially. I would live outside of the city, which also some people have said, live outside of the city, outside of the perimeter, which is where I would settle. I also would not go down there without a degree, even though a lot of people have degrees who live in Atlanta. I would not go down there without a hustle that I already had. I wouldn't go down to Atlanta looking for a job. That is a no-no. Absolutely not. I wouldn't even go down there for an interview. Oh, you haven't? No. What I'm saying is I wouldn't move there based on an interview. If I had a thriving job and connected to the ATL, yeah. If there was a job that I already was established in and moved into that job, yes. But to go down there on the ho-hum like, I think I'm going to go down there. No, because what I found out while I was looking for jobs, there are a lot of professional people in the AT Real. There are a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of what I call day people. There's day people and where there's night people. So there's a lot of professionals down there. And they're all trying to get that one job. I mean, it was crazy the line that they had for like this job venue that they set up. It was just ridiculous. So I would never go down there with the thought of I'm going to get this job. No, I would go down there with a job that I already had. Whether it's YouTube, whether it's some type of social media. Whether it, something that's already budding down there, and I just connected it from where I'm at to go down there. Because I think living inside of the perimeter of the city, the chances of something happening, and violent acts like anywhere, some people mention Maryland and saying Maryland is a cup of crazy too. I believe that. Other people were talking about the West Coast. So anywhere you can catch an L. But there are some places where it's just prominent. And this is one reason why I'm starting mentioning zone. I lived on Ponce de Leon. But like I said, I was in and out all over Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? From Buckhead to, to a couple other places. But I didn't go where I thought it would just be, off the chain. But where I lived at, it was off the chain. I lived on Ponce de Leon. I also lived on another street where, it was near a mall. I forgot what it's called. I lived there with my sister. And they was doing all kind of crazy stuff there. So I just wanted to clear that up. So you Atlanteans, please don't hate me because I have nothing against you. I was just talking about the different experience in the South and from the North, and now I live in the Midwest. there that is. I hope I cleared some things up for you guys. And once again, thanks to all my subscribers. Don't forget, get yourself saved, you guys. Get yourself a good church family, not necessarily a church, but a church family to, to sup with, to worship God with, and, make it in those gates. It's your boy Tone 202. You guys want to talk about Atlanta anymore? Once again, I have limited experience. I was only there for a short time, but I'd be more than happy to share my experience. But lastly, here's what I don't want you guys to do. Some of you guys have been saying, thank you for telling me this, I'll never move down there. I always discourage that comment. I don't block it. I go into the comment section and I say, don't do that. Go down there, take a visit for yourself, and see for yourself. Because you can go down there and meet some great people, and it's just totally the opposite of my experience. So please do not cut off this major metropolitan area, the city, and say it's all bad. Do not do that, because there's something down there for everybody. And like I said, once again, if I could, I would move to the outskirts in the Kennesaw, and I would stay there. It's a beautiful place. So it's your boy Tone 202. God bless.